All right, I'm standing in front of the world's first Bitcoin ATM here in Vancouver, British Columbia. We're at a Waves coffee shop. And as you can see, we've got a screen here and the ability to not only place money and buy Bitcoin currency. This is a bi-directional machine, so it'll allow us to, in fact, buy currency, Bitcoin currency, or indeed even sell it. For a small transaction fee, I just spoke with Jordan Kelly, the president of Robocoin. They're the people that operate this machine, which is not to be confused with Bitcoin, the operating software system that runs the Bitcoin program around the world. Now, that was developed by a rather mysterious person or group of persons. We don't know much about them, but the program is open source and we don't really need them anyway. It's administered by the people that use Bitcoin. Now, that means that the currency exchange rate, whether in this case, of course, in Canada, Canadian dollar, or the American dollar, whatever country you're in, can vary quite dramatically because it's a fairly small currency base and bigger transactions can affect the exchange rate quite dramatically. I understand there's about a 3% transaction fee by Robocoin if you try to cash in or out to use it. Now, you might ask yourself, well, I'm in a Waves coffee shop. I've got $20 in my pocket. I can go and buy myself a coffee right now, and why do I need Bitcoin to do that? Well, the answer is it's really not just a way to pay for your coffee, because as I said, you can pay with that, with your cash for that coffee. It's also a way to perhaps make some money in the transaction, because when you're buying Bitcoin currency, it can go up, and of course it can go down, and it can do that in quite dramatic fashion, from anywhere $80 per Bitcoin to all the way up to hundreds of dollars, depending on, well, just depending on how lucky you are when you do it. That means you could find yourself with a $20 Bitcoin purchase that in a couple of months might be as much as $80 or $100. And indeed, I saw quite a few people here in Vancouver today lined up at the machine at various times throughout the day to try and take advantage of that and become participants in the Bitcoin economy. Now, if you weren't going to use an ATM machine like this, where you can literally buy your Bitcoin with cash, the only other way is the way it's done in the rest of the world. That's using it online, and in which case you'd need a bank account. They don't use PayPal. You have to verify that account, and that can take up to a week or more to do. So it's a bit inconvenient to do it online. The cash transaction is pretty easy. I saw a lot of people come in and nobody seemed to have any problem. There is a $3,000 limit per day, and that's imposed not by Bitcoin, they'd love you to, or Robocoin in this case, not by the Bitcoin system, but by the Canadian government, who is a signatory to the anti-money laundering, and there's about a $3,000 ATM limit per day to do that, and that's by law. So they've opened up here in Canada first, according to Jordan Kelly, the president of Robocoin that operates this ATM, because the regulations would be a little bit easier, not quite as nosy as they are in the United States. Robocoin, incidentally, is based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Interesting that they came up here to Vancouver to participate with Waves Coffee to open up this first ATM machine.
It was easy.
Yeah.
It was easy in comparison to how you would normally have to get a Bitcoin. So,
what are the advantages of using this over, say, doing it online?
Well, this is cash compared to, having to put in your credit card or debit card information or bank account information into a third-party vendor where, it's risky. Whereas this is have cash, put it in, and it's done. Yeah. So I just saw you transfer $40 or something in there, and then you've got Bitcoin, and now you've paid for your coffee. Yep. And what are you going to do with the rest of it? We use it at another vendor. Where we're at, we're based out of Oregon in the U.S. So there's plenty of shops around the area that use Bitcoins. I also take Bitcoins for when I do development services.
And I've been here for a few hours, and I've seen a number of people actually come in and exchange the minimum of $20 to $40, $60 into Bitcoin currency. That'll allow you to buy a coffee or indeed anything that, well, $20 to $40, $60 will allow you to buy. In this case, Waves or any place else that happens to take Bitcoin around the world.